The honourable member from Thornhill.
Families, farmers, First Nations from across Canada are struggling because of this Prime Minister's ideological carbon tax crusade. Food bank usage is up 100%, and today we learned that the average grocery bill will go up by $700 next year. His senators are blocking relief for Canadians struggling to eat. First Nations communities are taking him to court because of this carbon tax. Conservatives have proposed a motion to axe the tax and will stay here as long as it takes. So will the Liberals finally listen to Canadians and vote with us to scrap the punishing carbon tax?
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A price on pollution is an important part of a climate plan, one that addresses affordability concerns. The vast majority of Canadians receive more money in the rebate than they pay in the price of pollution. The only group to benefit from the Conservative plan to end the climate program, to end the rebate, are the top 20% of earners, who almost everyone else gets poorer for their plan. The Conservatives are fighting for the rich. They are not fighting for Canadians who are concerned about affordability. The carbon price is both a climate measure and an affordability measure.
The honourable member from Thornhill.
Some talking points, but I'll take that as a no. Not only are they not going to vote against our motion, but they're going to also quadruple the carbon tax on gas, groceries, and home heating. Instead of voting to take the tax off of farmers, this desperate Prime Minister spent his weekend calling Liberal senators to manipulate a vote that he already lost in this House. Senators gutted the bill, betraying farmers, and then his caucus lost their minds over a plan to make them work overtime unless they axe the carbon tax. So why won't they keep their hands out of everyone else's pockets and finally axe the tax so Canadians can put food on the table?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there's only one caucus in this Parliament that's losing their mind, and it's the Conservatives, because their Conservative senators didn't show up to vote on Bill C through 34 in the other place. Mr. Speaker, we are happy to be here as long as it takes, because we will always stand up for Canadians, and we will always stand against bullies. Thank you. We will.
The honourable member from Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, that's the exact opposite of what she said yesterday. Because of ministers like this, more Canadians will eat in food banks than ever, and more simply will go without any food at all. And for the new year, everyone is going to spend $700 more on groceries. While these Liberals fight for a few extra days of Christmas vacation, we're going to fight for Canadians, and then we'll send the Prime Minister on the permanent vacation that Canadians desperately want him to take. Why won't they axe the tax for families, for farmers, for First Nations, for good?
The Honourable Minister of Natural Resources and Energy.
Mr. Speaker, 98% of farm fuel emissions are already unimpacted by the price on pollution. Farmers, though, are on the front lines of climate change. They understand the critical importance of addressing the climate issue. There are many factors that are contributing to the rise of food prices in Canada and around the world, including the war in Ukraine. While the Conservatives continue to vote against Ukraine and oppose the free trade agreement they need in their fight against Russia, we are taking action to reduce and ensure affordability for Canadians and support the government of Ukraine.
The honourable member for Mégantic-l'Érable. After 8 years of this Prime Minister, grocery prices continue to skyrocket. The report on food prices in Canada predicts that a typical family will see its bill rise by $700 in 2024. The price of meat, fresh vegetables and bakery products will rise by almost 7% next year. And the costly Liberal Bloc coalition continues to drastically increase inflationary taxes that drive up the price of everything. It costs a lot to vote Bloc. Will the Prime Minister cancel his plan to drastically increase the carbon tax on farmers and families so that people can eat?
The Honourable Minister for Families.
Merci pour la question.
Thank you for the question.
Every day that I come in this House and I take my seat, I'm humbled, as I know all of my colleagues on this side of the House are, to work on behalf of Canadians. Mr. Speaker, when we talk about the need to support Canadians, just yesterday, every Conservative on that side of the House voted against a national school food policy, a policy that would put food back into children so they're not at school hungry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to do everything to support Canadian families.
The honourable member for Mégantic-l'Érable. Well, you know what's true? After 8 years of this Liberal government, children are asking for gift cards to be able to eat at Christmas, Mr. Speaker. It's unacceptable. After 8 years of this Prime Minister, the cost of housing has doubled, interest rates are at record highs, grocery prices have risen 23%, and these prices will continue to rise next year for groceries. Mr. Speaker, will the Liberals do the right thing for once and vote to cancel the carbon tax so that grocery prices can go down and so that people can eat until they feel full this Christmas?
L'honorable ministre des Finances et vice-première ministre.
The Honourable Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, all Canadians and all Quebecers know that the Conservatives do not support the less well-off. Our government supports all Canadians. Our government supports the least well-off. This month, UNICEF published data according to which poverty levels in Canada decreased to 22%. The Conservatives only know how to slash, cut, but we're here for all Canadians, especially those who need help the most.